Hi everyone, this is Josh with Josh Wright Piano TV. Today's episode is about the value of having a coach or a teacher. I was listening to a podcast the other week and the person speaking was a life coach, and he said, even I, as a life coach, I have a coach that helps me. And it got me thinking about a lot of emails I receive all the time that students say, I'm self-taught and I'm just doing piano on my own. And I do need to bring up a word of caution about that. Piano is one of the most difficult activities a human being can engage in. They've done brain scans of pianists playing, and piano has the added difficulty. Something like organ, obviously you have the foot pedals going on, but something like organ, you don't have the weight of the keys. And I'm nothing against organ. I have the utmost respect for people who are organists. Richard Elliott, the organist for the Tabernacle Choir, one of the most amazing musicians I've ever met. Anyway, I'm getting off point. What I'm saying is, piano is not only difficult because you have 5 fingers going on at the same time, you have 88 keys, you have to add the left hand. Okay, so that's incredibly difficult. And then on top of that, you have the weight mechanism. So you have so many different gradations of volume. And then you have the pedals. And the pedal is kind of an art form unto itself. A coach or a teacher can help you make enormous progress. I still see a coach after all these years. I still see my teachers. I have 3 main teachers that I see. One of them very occasionally, the other 2 very frequently. At this point, I probably, after I just finished my doctorate, and I would still say I probably plan on seeing my teacher at least once a month, maybe every 2 weeks. And so if I've been playing for, what is it? I started when I was 5 and I'm 27 now, so 22 years, and I still see the urgent need to see a coach. People who are learning absolutely need to see a coach or someone to play for them, because it's so critical. So many little habits come about, bad habits in piano. It's so difficult. So you might be playing your arpeggios. That might sound really good to you, but there's so many issues with that. You're using too much elbow. It's uneven. The sound itself is uneven and the tempo is uneven. And you need a teacher. One of the greatest lessons I ever had was on La Campanella with this brilliant Russian teacher, and he just said, Joshua, stop pressing the keys so much. Don't press. You know, so I was playing. And I'd always get caught up, and I was like, man, I've worked on this stupid piece for years. Not consistently, but I would bring it back for performances and then practice it and things, and he just said, don't press. And sure enough, that just makes it so much easier. Now, I wouldn't play it dry like that. I just wanted to show you the clarity that you can get if you don't press the keys that much. Little things like that are so important in your development, or little rhythmic things that you do on your own you may not notice. I have this brilliant young little student who's 9 years old, and he's played in Carnegie Hall 3 times already. I mean, I just coach him every couple weeks. I'm not his principal teacher, but he asked me to coach him. Of course, I was happy to do so. And little things, like he was playing for me this Chopin waltz. And he would start doing strange things like crazy amounts of displacement. It was very expressive and beautiful. He was a very expressive player, but we needed to kind of gauge that. Maybe a little displacement there, but keep it together. Another thing a coach can do is provide you the encouragement that you need. I think that's so important. Piano is one of the most solitary activities you can possibly do as a human being. You're alone at your instrument day after day after day after day for hours and hours and hours, and you look at great pianists, especially young pianists. Like I look at Daniel Trifonov. He's like my idol in the piano world. You know, I mean, I think he's just the best. I love his playing so much, and you know, I sometimes think I'm never going to be as good as he is. Like, and I probably won't. I think that kid is performing so much, and he eats, sleeps, drinks, breathes piano. That's all. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's not all he does, but I mean, he is so brilliant that I probably won't ever catch up to him. But the striving to catch up to him is where the joy is found. The joy is always found in the journey. It's kind of a cheesy little line, but a coach can help keep things in perspective. I have students all the time that come to me and they say, like this lady I teach in Brazil the other week, it was so funny. She was playing for me this Clementi sonatina. And she said, it's terrible. I can't play this. I am just doing so poorly. I think I'm going to give up on it. I just can't possibly do it anymore. I said, okay, well, let's play through it. She played through it almost note perfect. There was maybe 2 little pauses in it, basically 100% smooth. And that was a piece that was like a step up for her, technically. And I said, so what are you so depressed about? And she's like, well, just the character. Like, I can't get the character that I want. And she was just referring to getting that as bouncy as possible rather than... And I said, that's it? And so we worked on that. And then we went over a few other little things dynamically, and she was playing it very artistically by the end of the lesson. 30-minute lesson, is she greatly improves in a 30-minute lesson, and it was already good. She needed that boost to know, hey, I'm doing okay. We all need that at times. It's not that we're needing to stroke our egos or, you know, only have our teachers sugarcoat everything, but you need a coach to put you in perspective. Similarly, I remember going to a lesson one time with this teacher, and I played this Mozart F major sonata. We spent the first 45 minutes on that lesson. It was a very expensive lesson, by the way. And I remember playing the whole entire sonata for him, and he got done. I got done, and he said, this is really no good at all. And it was like one of the best times I'd ever played it. He was talking about something totally different. So a coach can also open up your eyes to different possibilities of things. Now, these things are all obvious that I've said in this video. You might be watching saying, duh, of course, this is just common sense things. But it's a good reminder that we should all see a coach. It's worth it to make the sacrifice to see someone, whether it be you know, if you have to travel to see them, or if it's a financial thing. I mean, I'm all about budgeting. I'm not saying you should go to the most expensive teacher every single day. You know, none of us could do that. But at the same time, I would try to make it a point, even if it's once a month or once every month and a half or whatever you can do. Try to see a teacher at least once every month and a half, and sorry, as often as possible. I don't know what I'm saying here. If you can do once a week, that's optimal. That really helps a lot. If you're an adult, once every 2 weeks is probably pretty good if you're working and or have kids. So I hope some of these tips have been helpful. I just get so many emails that I thought I'd make a video on this. So many people say, I'm self-taught, what should I do? And I always say, do you have a teacher? And they say, well, no. And that's the first thing, getting a good quality teacher. If I'm still seeing a teacher after getting a doctorate, all these years of study, if I still feel the urgent need, then most people probably should be seeing a teacher as well, because there's always something to learn. Even playing for my wife, she has her doctorate as well, and her feedback is just critical to my development. I know if my wife gives me the approval, then it's good, because she hears me practicing 24/7, so she knows my playing so intimately. So if she says something's off, I know it's off, and I can fix that. By the way, I wanted to say, I do teach online, if any of you are interested, but even if you're not interested in taking lessons with me, but you're wanting to find a good teacher, I have my brother and my sister-in-law both graduated with their bachelors with piano performance degrees, and they are always looking for new students. I also have other students that I've taught. So if you don't have a teacher in your area, I would always recommend live lessons if you can find a super good teacher, live lessons are great, but I also know the value of online lessons. I've been teaching online for 2 or 3 years now, and or actually 3 years now, and it's wonderful. I have many students in many different countries, about 5 different continents, so it's been amazing to connect with all of these different students and be able to help them in their progress, so in their development. So I hope this video has been helpful. If you don't mind subscribing or sharing it so this can get out to as many people as possible, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you for your support and have a wonderful week.